Every year when those postseason rosters come out, in this case, the first one Saturday morning, there's an omission or two, a surprise name not on the list. Who will it be this year for the Milwaukee Brewers? That's next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It's great to join you on a Wednesday. My name is Chuck Freimund, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers. And can I say this? The Brewers have never not been division champs when your boy has been doing Locked On Brewers, and that would cover 3 seasons. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. We're brought to you in part by Gametime. Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. So who will that surprise omission be from the first postseason roster, which drops on Saturday morning? Who will it be for the Milwaukee Brewers? We'll get some Miz conversation, a lot of uneasiness of Miz appearing in a postseason game. We'll talk about that. Dave Gasper, our guest today from 97.3 The Game. All that ahead here on Locked On Brewers. All right. I think, well, it's not really, is it a surprise omission? I think maybe if before the season would have started or during the season, would we have guessed that Rhys Hoskins is not going to be on the postseason roster? But it comes down to a numbers game right there because the Brewers like the left-handed hitting Jake Bauers. They also like, obviously, they like Andrew Vaughn at first base as the right-handed option. So you got the left-handed hitting Bauers, the right-handed hitting Vaughn. And what are you going to do with Hoskins? He can't play anywhere but first base. You'd love to have his bat, but he's only a first baseman. You DH him, but you have some other options you might like better than that as well on this team. I don't know. I have a feeling Hoskins will not be on that postseason roster on Saturday morning. Some people think it might be the Miz. Some people think it might be the Miz. Could the Miz be the first guy in baseball history, non-injury related, to make the All-Star team and not be on a postseason roster? I mean, it's possible. It is possible, depending on the trust the Brewers have in him. Certainly, they don't want to get into a situation where the Miz gets out there and walks guys, but do you need the Miz? If you need a big strikeout, only a couple of guys on this team can get you that big strikeout, and, McGill is one of those. But what if you go to extra innings? What if you need a big strikeout in the 6th inning, 7th inning? You need the guy to come in, and you're going to roll the dice, bases loaded, tough spot to put the Miz in, but you need a K with 1 out, and the Miz gets you one, right? I mean, you run the risk of walking in a run, but I think the Miz adds that dynamic that he's got to be on this postseason roster. For that reason alone, I feel with me, and I know his numbers have not been great for his last 7 of 8 starts or so, but because he could throw and he could heat it up with among the best in the country and maybe the best in the country, I think that's the guy who you can't keep off this postseason roster in case you need that one strikeout. But Hoskins, I was shouting from the mountaintops that we should sign Rhys Hoskins a couple of winters ago. And I was so delighted. I came here doing an emergency episode in the middle of the night, and I was like, man, they got Rhys Hoskins. All right. Start printing those World Series tickets. Nah, maybe I didn't say that. But little did we think that right now it'd be even a question mark. Well, of course, he got hurt. And if he didn't get hurt, who knows what kind of season Hoskins would have had. And we went and saw Andrew Vaughn, who is so big this summer in helping this team to a couple of huge winning streaks and propelling them to where they are, helping a big part in the 97 win. So, and hitting in the heart of the order too. Hitting in the heart of the order. So Vaughn is not going to be a guy you're going to keep off the roster. They love Bauers. They've loved him since, I think the Pittsburgh series a few weeks ago when they were in Pittsburgh and he went 6 of 12 and had a couple of big nights, Friday and a Saturday night. And I think Sunday too. He did something Sunday as well. It was a few weeks ago. But I think they really want that left-handed dynamic coming off the bench. Not again, here's a guy who they pretty much said goodbye to in November. Came back to the team on a minor league deal, and now they want him on the postseason roster. I think Bowers is for sure on the postseason roster. Vaughn for sure. The numbers game, you can't keep Hoskins. I think Hoskins will be the name. People look at it and say, oh, Hoskins not on the postseason roster? What? Unless an injury happens between now and then, I think he's the guy. How about that? That's the most expensive for a team like Milwaukee, too, that can't throw around its dollar bills. To have a guy making $18 million and you're not going to put him on the postseason roster? But that's where the Brewers are at this point. That is where they are. And needless to say, Rhys will not be back on the team next year. A couple of people asked me, should the Brewers have held the inter-squad scrimmage on Tuesday in front of fans? Philadelphia drew 31,000 for theirs. And they had a number of things. And I feel like the Milwaukee Brewers, I feel like sports teams here in the state of Wisconsin are usually ahead of the curve on that when it comes to finding ways to bring people in. The Milwaukee Bucks have their open practices that they always have before the season. The Packers have their family night. I believe they were one of the first people to start that, if I'm not mistaken. The Brewers, they had that home run hitting, the alumni home run hitting contest that they were the first ones in on that. So the Phillies in Seattle had opened up the gates for like $10 a pop. I'm surprised the Brewers didn't get in on this. I really am, because the Brewers, again, Fan Field's not open in the wintertime. That thing is not making any revenue in the wintertime. Brewers aren't making any revenue in the wintertime. I'm surprised. 31,000, they could have, who knows? If you make it you don't have an inter-squad scrimmage, you give away a few things and all that. That's what Philadelphia did. Yeah, if they drew 30,000 in Philly, they'd do the same thing in Milwaukee as well. They would do the same thing. So I'm a little surprised that the Brewers didn't have a little open scrimmage on Tuesday. A little surprised at that. There was no media availability for us today. There'll be Friday, if any news. So there was really not a lot of news today. The Brandon Woodruff news, the news was supposed to drop, according to Murphy, was supposed to drop. He told us all Tuesday, well, we'll know more Tuesday night. Well, we weren't going to see the Brewers. Nobody was going to be around Fan Field. No insider out there. None of those national insiders, because a lot of times you'll see a national insider break a story, because those guys are in the good with all the agents out there, right? So the agents will talk to those national guys. But nobody dropped anything on Woodruff. Nothing at all. So we'll see. I kind of doubt really that he is going to be ready for the postseason. I really do. I do not think he's going to be in any of the postseason. But the Brewers aren't going to come out and just put a press release out and say, well, you know what, he's not going to pitch. They're going to let opponents wait, right? Why release the news? No need to. Let their Game 3 starter be a secret. And I was sad to see the Reds get beat by the Dodgers. Dodgers, who at times showed no interest in playing in the regular season, turned it on these last two nights, and they advanced. They'll take on Philadelphia. The winner of Philadelphia and Milwaukee, the winner of Philadelphia and Los Angeles will play the series of the winner between Milwaukee and to be determined. Now, coming up Thursday, San Diego plays Chicago in a winner-take-all. Winner advances to Milwaukee on Saturday, and that's either going to be an afternoon game or a night game, and that's predicated on the Boston Yankees series. Now, Boston and New York are going to a winner-take-all game on late Thursday afternoon. If Boston wins, the Brewers will play at 8 o'clock on Saturday night in Game 1. If the Yankees win that series, the Brewers and whoever they play will play at 1 o'clock. So let me say it again. If Boston wins today, the Brewers will play at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. If the Yankees win, the Brewers will play at 1 o'clock. I said in yesterday's podcast, I thought it kind of was predicated a little bit on Philadelphia and Los Angeles, if Los Angeles had won that series. But apparently it's coming down to the Boston and Yankees series. And, doesn't matter to me. I would rather have that 8 o'clock start. 8 o'clock start. That'd be the latest starting time of the year. I think when the Brewers first came to Milwaukee in the early 70s, I think they used to have 8 o'clock starts. I know they had 7:30 starts until that changed, like in the early 90s, I want to say. And now we're at 6:40. If you want to make them earlier, I would be good with that as well. 6 o'clock starts, that would be fantastic. Yeah, that's something we talk about in the off season. All right, we come back. Dave Gasper joins us. Dave Gasper from 97.3 The Game. We'll throw a few things off of him. That's coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. This is the part of the episode where I talk to you about how do you download the podcast. Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads on there. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet for a simple reason. You great Brewer fans out there. You guys go to us every day and download us. Get us on all the audio platforms. If you already download us on the audio platform, go to us on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. You won't get any strange emails or anything like that. You'll just get updates on when we drop an episode. You'll get alerted on that if you push the alert. But please subscribe. And again, of course, all the content is free. Gametime. Told you about this earlier. Gametime. Nothing like catching a game live. The crowd. Well, you want to get to the postseason tickets, maybe for Saturday or Monday, go to Gametime. You can pick out anywhere you want to see it, but not just Brewers games, not just Bucks games or Packers games, but concerts, theater, you name it. Gametime. It's a real simple app to use, and they're not going to give any hidden fees in on you. Just download the Gametime app, create an account. Right now, when you use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. So if you spend $70 in tickets, which you won't be spending $70 for playoff tickets, you'll be a little higher than that. But whatever you pay, you might get $20 off, depending on the term. But chances are $20 off your first purchase. Locked On MLB. That's the promo code, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, download the Gametime app today, create an account, and get your $20 off with the Locked On MLB promo code. The episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. You want to know how to save money? Go to Monarch Money. That is the way to go. It tells you how you're spending your money, where you're wasting your money, where your paycheck is going. Are you spending too much money going out, going to movies, having parties, whatever? Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401k, properties, or investments. Monarch Money does all that for you. Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool, brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or phone. It's all there right in front of you. Don't let financial opportunity, slip through the cracks. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. When you go to your desktop and you punch in monarchmoney.com, use LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get half off your first year. 50% off your first year. Monarchmoney.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB. People with busy lives, I'm guarantee you are going to love this. This is going to tell you where all that money is going, where you're spending your money, the money you have. Finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Monarch Money, monarchmoney.com. We're on a roll getting guys from 97.3 The Game. David Gasper, Gas as I call him, covers the Brewers as well for 97.3 The Game. He's out there on a regular basis, yucking it up with us and covering this great Brewers team of ours. Gas, appreciate you coming on. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, Chuck.
Now, Gas, boy, this is an exciting time. I think we've been waiting. A lot of Brewer fans and us in the media is just waiting for Saturday because we've had such a great regular season, watching these guys, covering these guys. It's been a great regular season so far, but it's time to see what this team can do in the postseason.
Yeah, it's a lot of hurry up and wait at this point because, we're not used to this. With the way that the recent postseasons have gone, the Brewers have always been playing during the week here, during the wild card series, and everyone's always stressing out about it, and rightfully so, because the Brewers have lost in the wild card round the last couple of years. So, being able to earn this by it has been, I think, really great for the Brewers, even though we're kind of wanting to get back to baseball and like, let's get some games going. We're ready for it. I think the break is going to be good for the team. And, they get to advance already to the NLDS. You get a best of 5 series, which I think this team is going to be much better suited for. And, you can line up your pitching the way that you want. You can get guys healthy. You get that extra time. So, I have no problem with it. I'm really excited to see what this team will look like coming out of this little break.
All right, we're seeing San Diego and the Cubs beat each other up with pitching staffs the last 2 days. The Cubs got the top end a couple of days ago, then the Padres came back and did it with their bullpen and their starting pitching and shut out the Cubs. Game 3, who would you rather? What is the best matchup for the Brewers in your opinion?
Mm-hmm. I think the better matchup, honestly, might be the Cubs at this point. I mean, I know the tiebreaker went to the Cubs in the regular season this year, but the Cubs have also lost Cade Horton recently. He's not going to be able to pitch in this NLDS. Should the Cubs make it there, so them losing him is a big deal. And frankly, I think when it comes to that Brewers-Cubs games, having them, at least the first 2 at American Family Field, I think that's going to be something that the Brewers are going to be able to get up for. I think when it comes to all these first-round exits, all this playoff stuff, that's going to be a series that Pat Murphy is going to get the boys fired up for. That's going to be one where you're going to get this team playing some of their best baseball because they know what's on the other side. They know how important it is. They know how big this rivalry is, and facing someone in your division like that. And it's going to be an energetic crowd. That much is for sure. But I think it's one that the Brewers match up well with the strengths that they have and where the Cubs kind of are at heading into this postseason and now in this battle here with the Padres. So I honestly think the Cubs might be the better matchup. The Padres, we just saw them in San Diego. They took 2 of 3, and I think the Brewers recently, when they face someone at the end of the regular season, then have to face them right away again in the postseason, it hasn't turned out well for them. It didn't turn out well last year, and that's something that I'm a little bit concerned with. The Brewers haven't seen the Cubs since the middle of August, so I think having that time in between, I think that might be a little bit better for the Brewers and give them an advantage.
As far as home field advantage, when we were in the locker room on Tuesday talking to the players, someone asked Terang about what's it like having home field advantage? And he made a good point. You almost forget about that. Guys like him and Frelick haven't gone on the road for a postseason because both series the last 2 years have ended at home in the wild card round where you don't have to go on the road. I mean, it ended poorly, but they didn't play any road games.
Yeah, and that's kind of the unfortunate parts, that they haven't been able to experience that yet, but they have gotten some playoff experience. They have had some big moments. I mean, Sal Frelick had a very big moment in Game 3 last year, and Jake Bauers as well. And again, it didn't result in a win, didn't result in what they were looking for, but having that experience for these guys, I mean, all they've really known is making the postseason in their career, but missing out on that road playoff experience, that is going to be quite an interesting one in terms of how they handle it, especially if your road atmosphere is going to be Wrigley Field. Mm-hmm. That is going to be certainly a raucous environment, but also too, that's where I think it's important to have guys on the team, some veterans who have been around in those situations before. And that's where it's important maybe to have someone like Jose Quintana coming back and being able to start a Game 3. And, he's pitched on the road in playoffs before. He pitched in Game 3 for the Mets last year at American Family Field. So that's where having those kinds of veterans who've been in that position before, it's important for them to be on this team and to kind of help guide those young guys through.
As far as Game 3, that's like the $1 million question around Brewers Nation. Mm-hmm. Who's going to start Game 3? Well, let's get to the Miz here. It's not going to be the Miz. And no. Murphy said that after his last outing in St. Louis, when he didn't pitch all that great. We saw him in relief this past weekend against Cincinnati. Everybody was all aboard the Miz, the All-Star break, Miz Mania. We had Miz T-shirts, but now I think if you polled Brewers Nation, they like the kid. They're just unsure of him if it's his time just now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that are unsure if he even makes the postseason roster. And I think that's a fair question. The way that he's pitched lately, I'm not sure because when it comes to the playoffs, you have to go to guys that you can trust. Pat Murphy has to go to someone out of that bullpen he can trust. He has to be able to trust every single one of his guys. He's talked about that numerous times throughout the season. High leverage, low leverage, whatever it is, all 8 of those guys out in the bullpen, or however many you're going to have for a playoff series, you have to be able to trust all of them in any given situation. And right now, there are not a lot of situations I trust Jacob Mizorowski in. The command just hasn't been there. In some cases, the velocity hasn't been there. I mean, we saw his last start. I mean, he was in the 4th inning, and his fastball's at 96, 97. It's like, whoa, that's a lot missing off your fastball. So I don't think the Brewers can trust Jacob Mizorowski right now when it comes to big moments in the playoffs. So for that reason, I think there's a good chance he misses out on it altogether. I know the Brewers like him, and I think they may want to put him on there anyways, just because the upside is so high. But there's a lot of other guys I would trust right now over Jacob Mizorowski.
Do you think there's going to be a surprise that maybe Mizorowski is a surprise person who does not make the divisional playoff series roster when it's released on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I think that would certainly be, I think it would be a surprise to some, not a surprise to others. I'm still kind of on the fence whether he makes it or not. I think you have good arguments for both, but that's where DL Hall coming back and making a appearance in the last game of the regular season, I think that was important to give him a case to come back and make the roster. Trevor McGill coming back as well. It gives the Brewers another trustworthy arm that they're going to have in that bullpen to take up a roster spot. So I think DL Hall maybe could be a surprise guy just because he's been out for so long, just pitched 1 inning when coming back. So he could maybe be a surprise addition. But I think that would be kind of the biggest one here for this series about what happens with Jacob Mizorowski.
Freddy Peralta, likely the game 1 starter. Going to get your thoughts on that coming up here in a little bit. And what about Brandon Woodruff? We still haven't heard any news. We'll get to that coming up next. Chuck Freimund here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Dave Gasper from 97.3 The Game is our guest. We're coming right back after this. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook for a reason. FanDuel, they got a terrific offer right now. New customers, you bet $5, you get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, 300 big ones going right into your account at FanDuel, #1 sportsbook out there. NFL kicks up on Thursday night once again for the week. Get some college. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs are going on all day and into the late hours. It's all there. It's a great time to get on all the action on FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Go there, download the FanDuel app, and get started today. And right now, new customers, again, you bet $5, $300 in bonus bets right in. You can use it on live plays, tennis, whatever you want to use it on. It's all there for you. But you got to win that $5 bet, which shouldn't be too difficult. Visit FanDuel today. Download the app. FanDuel app. Get started today. FanDuel, unlock your $300 in bonus bets to use across the app with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I'm Chuck Freimund here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Our guy Dave Gasper joining us from 97.3 The Game, covers the Brewers on a regular basis. Sits right in front of me in the press box. Always great yucking it up with my guy Gas at games, along with what's his name that we had on here last night, Hunter Baumgart. Brandon Woodruff, man, we were supposed to find out some news, and we still, as of this taping, we're late Wednesday night. We still don't know whether or not. I feel like Woodruff's not going to play anyway, or pitch.
Yeah, I mean, the later this goes, I mean, Pat Murphy told us on Tuesday that we'll have an update by the end of the day, and an update never came out publicly. I mean, perhaps the Brewers know what the update is, but they're not telling us. Perhaps we'll find out on Friday when they have their next media availability, the next time that they talk to us. But I feel like it's not good news. If it were good news, they would have come out with it already and said, hey, he's going to be fine. He just might miss this one round, but he'll be good to go for the NLCS or something like that. So the longer this goes, the more the concern is going to grow for Brandon Woodruff. And you feel so terrible for him. I mean, every time we talk to him, he was talking about how he's just trying to go about things the right way, take it cautious, play it smart, and being ready to pitch for October. And right as he's about to get ready to pitch in October, this thing flares up with the lat strain, and now it seems like we may not see him for quite a while. And it's so tough for the poor guy. I mean, he already missed a year and a half. On his way back, he had setback after setback with either an ankle thing, or then he gets a comebacker off the elbow, and this and that and the other thing. And it's just, you feel so terrible for him. He's been through the gauntlet, and just when he's finally back to, just about to be at the top again, it seems like it's going to get taken away. Now, again, I don't know that for sure. None of us know that for sure yet. We haven't seen any of the actual information come out, but he met with his surgeon, and since coming back, they're going through all the information, as Pat Murphy told us, and they'll give us an update at some point here. But the longer the wait goes, Chuck, it feels like it's not good news.
Well, here's Murphy, and Murph from dealing with him in the media at his press conferences. Murph said, well, we'll know something a little bit later on tonight. Somebody's going to ask him Friday, hey, I thought we're supposed to know something Tuesday night. He goes, well, he'll say this. Well, I did know Tuesday night, but I didn't see any of you guys because there was no media availability.
Yeah, everyone went home.
They're not going to put a press release. Oh, Brandon Woodruff is done for the year. No, they're going to hold on to that and keep their opponents guessing, which I get. I totally get that. How do you feel about Freddy in game one?
I think it makes sense. I think it's the most logical choice. I mean, he's someone who's had a fantastic season, the best year of his career. Pat Murphy says that. Freddy says that himself, that it's been the best year of his career. And he is absolutely the right choice. I mean, he's proven he's pitched in these kind of situations before. It makes the most possible sense to have Freddy Peralta be your guy for a game one, and set you up well for that series. And, just kind of like opening day this year, there's kind of no question coming into it. I think there's no question that Freddy Peralta is the guy to go to for game one.
And whether or not we should trade Freddy or not, we're going to save that one for the offseason because we got a postseason run because that's going to be a $1 million question in the offseason. All right, 2 questions before I let you go, Gas. Number 1, what was your favorite regular season game this year? I asked this to HB yesterday. What's yours?
Ooh, favorite regular season. There's so many good ones, but let's see. Which one was it where they were down super big early? It was
Cincinnati?
like
8-1 in Cincinnati.
I mean, that one was good, but no, this was at home. They ended up walking it off.
Mets 5-0 and Collins hits the 9th inning home run.
Yes, that one. Yes,
that's mine too, because Saturday night we had the floods in Milwaukee, and it was such a downtime, and some people couldn't make the game. There was rumblings that maybe the game should have been canceled on Sunday.
Yeah, pushed back, delayed an hour or two, and
the fans, God bless the Brewers fans again. They came out there, and 33,000 out there on Sunday, and then Collins walks it off with a home run. Absolutely.
Yeah.
At what point, I'm stealing this one from the Journal Sentinel because it was such a good one. They had this in there. They asked their writers about this. I'm going to ask you. At what point did you think a season was going to turn around? When did you think the turning point was? At what point did you think, you know what, they're going to be better than this mediocre record they got right now?
I mean, I think where I noticed the turning point was the Carlos Rodriguez game. Like that first one where he's going, you're going through the rain delay, and it's got 2 hours like on and off, and he battles through right there, and they win the last game of that series with the Pirates. They're in mid-late May. Memorial Day right around there. So you get that game, and you had the rain delay that Rodriguez had to sit through 2 hours of, and then go back out there and pitch. But saving the bullpen, the way the Brewers battled back in that last game against Pittsburgh, it really kind of felt like okay, they finally maybe figured something out here. And they went on a little winning streak after that, and won 5, 6. I think they won 8 games in a row at that point. So that kicked off that whole winning streak thing. So I think right around there, mid late May was the turning point of the season.
Dave Gasper, 97.3 the game. Hear him chiming in between 10 and 2. You got that correctly with Billy Schmid, right?
Yes. Absolutely. 10-2 now. Billy and Armin.
Billy and Armin, absolutely. All right, hey, we'll see you there Saturday night, my friend. Good stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait for it, Chuck.
All right, Dave Gasper joining us from 97.3 the game. This is Chuck Freimund. Thanks for tuning in to the #1 Brewers podcast on the internet. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. My name is Chuck Freimund. We will talk to you all coming up tomorrow night, everybody.